everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing a little review informational video on the L'Oreal Magic Nude Liquid Powder Foundation, and that is this little guy here. I have been using this for a couple of weeks now and have really tried to see, what I truly thought about it, my full honest opinion and review. So I wanted to do a little demo and show you how I apply it and how it works for me. I do have oily skin, so if you'd like to know how this foundation works for me and how I apply it and how I feel about it, what I think about it, my thoughts, please stick around and keep watching. Alright, so let's go ahead and get right into the demo of this product. And once I've got it all on, then I'm going to go ahead and let you know how I feel about it, my final thoughts, so on and so forth. So today we are going to be talking, as I'm sure you know because of the title of my video, we're going to be talking about the L'Oreal Magic Nude Liquid Powder. It comes in a little package like this. It comes with 0.91 fluid ounces, which is close to average. Most of the drugstore foundations and even high-end foundations come in 1 fluid ounce. So for example, this one here, the CoverGirl Outlast, this is 1 ounce. This is just shy of that. So pretty good amount that you're getting. So and it comes in this cool glass little bottle, which I actually really like. Nice and sleek, fairly thin. Good for travel, I would say, because it is fairly compact. This foundation is very different than any other foundation I have tried, both drugstore and high-end. It's very liquidy, almost. I don't want to say as liquid as water, because it's not just going to completely roll to the floor like if you were to pour some water in your hand, but gosh darn it, fairly close. It is very runny. I'll let you hear it. I'm hoping that you can hear that to give you an idea of how liquidy this is. If I do that with my CoverGirl, I'm shaking it pretty hard, but it's thick, so you can't hear it. It's not going anywhere. With this one, so just to give you an idea of how liquidy it is. So it's very different. I've never used a foundation that is this runny, that is this liquidy. Hence the name liquid powder. It is supposed to be very liquidy, which we got that part down, and it is supposed to set to a very soft, velvety type of powder finish. Which it does. So let's go ahead and get into the demo. I am wearing absolutely nothing on my face. I did just get out of the shower, so my cheeks are a little red from just the heat of me being in the shower, the steam. So my face is a little rosy. I do have a little blemish that is going away, and just some redness, like I said, in my cheeks because I just got out of the shower. So this claims to be Magic Nude, so this is going to give you a very light coverage. You can build it up to about medium coverage, which I'm going to show you once I get started on the application by adding two coats of it. And even when you do that, it still feels fairly light. So if you're looking for something light on the skin, not necessarily looking to cover a lot of imperfections in your face, because this is not going to cover. This is not full coverage. If you suffer from acne scars or severe breakouts or anything like that, just know that this is not going to cover that, because it is, like I said, it has very low coverage, and it's nice for the summer though, because maybe if you do have a problematic skin and you just don't want to put a heavy coverage foundation, you still want your skin to breathe, this will do it for you. Just be aware that it's not going to cover a lot of imperfections. So let's go ahead and get started. Enough of the chit chat. So right now on my skin, I have nothing but a little bit of moisturizer, and I put that on right after I got out of the shower, so it's nice and soaked into my skin now. I like to use this product. I always recommend using a primer, especially in the summer, because it's hot, hot, humid, a scorching type of heat, obviously depending on where you live. So I always recommend wearing a primer underneath your foundation to make sure that it lasts as long as possible. I have been finding that these two together work really, really well. I have a couple of other different primers, but when I use this one. And this is the L'Oreal Youth Code Pore Vanisher. So let's go ahead and prime our face with a little bit of this here. I'm gonna try to use the viewfinder for this. So you can see I've got a couple of little breakouts, and like I said, this is going to cover them very minimally. It's not going to give me a full flawless, amazing, super clear looking skin, but that's okay because that's not what, what it promises, so that's all right. So I'm just going to work this into my skin, and I'm just going to look at my mirror right over here. And I usually place it right in the areas where I tend to get more oily, which is right in here, and then I just kind of rub it out and, smear the rest onto the other parts of my face. Okay. Gosh, my face is so red. Sorry. I guess I could have done this another time and not right after the shower, but hey, I figured I'd squeeze it in here. Okay, so once we've got that on our face, since it is very liquidy, before you apply it, every time before you apply it, you want to make sure you shake it, really will it out really, really well because it is so liquidy. So if anything tends to separate, you want to make sure you shake it really, really good, just like that. The shade that I wear is 328, and that is Sun Beige. This equals out to be a W6 in the L'Oreal True Match, if that helps you for reference. So my skin is a little bit lighter than this horrible tan line that I've got going on. But obviously my skin's a little lighter than my neck, so I always like to match my face with the rest of my body. And so this color will look a little dark, but it will blend into the rest of my skin. Okay, so if you were to do one of these moves, you're gonna have foundation running all on your hand. Bad idea, you're gonna waste a lot of foundation. So what I like to do is put a little bit on my fingers. So on 3 fingers, just like that. And then I just kind of dab it and I work it into my skin. So if you are wondering why I am using my fingers, is because the actual back portion of this bottle recommends that you apply this foundation that way. It is very, very liquidy and very runny. So if you were to put it, say, on a beauty blender or on a brush, it's gonna soak up all of your product because it is so liquidy. So I am only gonna put this on half of my face, just so you can get an idea of the coverage that I'm telling you that it gives. Like I said, a very light, sheer coverage. And this feels so good on my skin. It feels like I'm rubbing, if you could rub powder on your skin and have it stay still without it, going everywhere, that's what I feel like this feels like. If I'm rubbing a powder on my skin, and it just feels so soft and so good. Okay, so I've got one coat there. I'm hoping that you can see, that you can kind of see the coverage. So this side we have no makeup here, and here we do. So it just kind of evens my skin out a little bit. Like I said, not very full coverage, but I am gonna go in with a second coat. I'm just gonna let this dry a little bit so that we can see how buildable this foundation is. While this dries a little bit, I'm gonna read the back of the bottle. It says, transforms from liquid into powder for that perfect bare skin finish. And then it says, shake very well. For best makeup results, pour just a few drops onto your fingers and apply directly onto the skin. And it says in bold black letters, it says, not recommended for use with a sponge or a brush. Which, I mean, that makes sense because it is so liquidy. Your brush or your sponge is gonna soak up all of the product. Rubbing it in with your fingers is gonna keep the product on your face. Okay, so that is fairly dry. So I am going to go ahead and add another layer. And like I said, this is just for the purpose of showing you the type of coverage that this foundation is going to give you. Very natural, hence the name Nude Magic. You know, it's saying you're gonna get bare looking skin. So pretty much you're gonna get your skin, but just better. Oh my God, this just feels so good. You know, when you apply foundation to your face and sometimes you feel like, oh, it feels like I have foundation on my face, like a little bit of that heaviness. This just does not do that. This just really feels, like I said, it feels like you're rubbing powder. Make sure you blend it into your jawline. It just feels so good. All right, so here we are. I hope that you are getting the color that you can see. The type of coverage that this is giving. And I like to blend it really well, you know, in the little crevices of my face, like right there on my nose, under my nose, right in the corners of my mouth. Like I said, since you are using your fingers, it just makes it really easy to really get in there and blend this really well. Okay, so there we are. I'm hoping you can see a difference or see the difference here. So this side has no foundation, and this side here has two very thin layers of the foundation. So like I said, it's not giving you full coverage, but with 2 layers, I do feel like you get a pretty good medium coverage to cover, like I said, any little veins, any blemishes, anything like that. So there we are. So let me go ahead and put the 2 coats on this side of my face to show you what it looks like full face and not cray-cray looking like this. All right, so I am back and I have gone ahead and applied foundation to this side of my face. So now you can see what the foundation looks. Obviously, you know, my lips look a little dead because I got a little foundation on them. Keep in mind, I have nothing else on my face. Nope, I didn't set it with any powder or anything like that. Just 2 nice sheer coats of the foundation. So I did one, I waited maybe about 60 seconds for it to dry, because you can actually feel it drying into a powder when you are rubbing it into your face. So it doesn't take long to set. So this is what it looks like. Like I said, it just looks, it's really sheer. You could still see that little blemish that's going away right in there. So it's not covering it completely. A couple that I have up here. So it's, like I said, it's not going to give you full coverage, but it is just going to even out your skin completely. It's just kind of like your skin. All right, ladies, but so I am back with the rest of my makeup on my face. So I'll just give you a quick rundown. Usually when I wear this foundation is on the days that I just really don't feel like putting on too much or doing a whole lot to my face. So if I need to, you know, leave the house to run some errands, to go grocery shopping, if I'm taking the kids to the park, if we're going to have lunch, you know, my husband and the kids, and this is just me, personal preference. When I just don't feel like, you know, doing too much, when I'm doing simple things, I like to wear this because honestly, it feels like I just don't have anything. I almost feel like, I mean, I know I don't look like I'm not wearing anything, but I feel like I'm not. I don't feel heavy, I don't feel sticky, I don't feel sweaty, I just don't feel like I have foundation. So anyway, that is when I resort to this foundation the most. Now that it's starting to get hotter, I'm really starting to test it to see how it's gonna hold up with these hotter days. What I have been doing the first couple of days that I wore it, and I've been wearing it for probably the last 2 weeks because I wanted to get a good feel for it before I went ahead and did a review on it and kind of showed you what I like. Whoa, that's kind of crazy right there. Sticking out. Here, how about we just cut it out of the frame? Okay, much better. It was bobby pinned in there. Now it's trying to make its debut on YouTube. Anywho, the first couple of times that I wore it, since the dust set to a powder, I figured, hey, well, maybe I don't have to set it with a powder. But let me tell you just really briefly about my skin. I do have really oily skin, and if I am out in, you know, in the heat and in hotter conditions, my skin tends to get oilier than, you know, in the winter or in the not so hot days. So it did still last. I just felt like it didn't last as long. So the way that I have been using it now is how I just showed you. I'll do 2 very thin layers, and then I'll go in and set it with a powder. And I'm not saying like go ahead and just cake on some powder over it. No, I do a very, very light dusting of my L'Oreal True Match, and this is in W6. And I just take a big fluffy brush like this, and I don't even get a lot of product. I just kind of, you know, dip it in there a little bit, and then just lightly dust it just over the foundation, just to make sure that if it's going to be too hot during the day, that my foundation is going to last. And I find that that works perfect with this foundation. Not, you know, not doing too much powder over. Excuse me, just a light dusting, and that has been working for me even with my own oily skin and even in the heat. So just a quick tip for you ladies, if you do have oily skin. If you have dry skin, honestly, you probably don't even have to worry about putting anything over it, such as a powder, you know, or whatever. You should be good to go if you don't suffer from, you know, your skin getting oily throughout the day, stuff like that. So that's what I did. I set it with that, and then I just filled in my eyebrows, a little bit of mascara, just a little peachy blush with just some lip gloss. So this is my simple. Once again, thank you so much for tuning into my channel. I hope that this little review information video was helpful to you, and I will see you in my next one. Thank you. Bye.